Hey guys, what is going on around here, and welcome back to episode of Cards and Castles TV commentary. We've got some interesting matches lined up for you guys today, so I'm not going to keep you here much longer. So let's go ahead and jump right in to match number one. But before we jump into that, folks, matter of housekeeping, YouTube analytics again show me that 50.9% of you are not subscribed to this channel. That's alarming. So I would ask you to kindly check below to make sure that you are still subscribed to this channel. Of course, if you haven't already done so, be sure to click that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot. And yeah, and if you don't do it, you might lose your next card game. So 50.9% of you might be losing some card games. But with that being said, guys, on to the video. Alright folks, and for that first match, it is going to be CG Pro 42 taking on Guard 007 here as we jump right into the action here. We see Guard might be rocking a bit of a Knight build, reinforced by the fact that he's got staples in the hand. Don't know what Pro is rocking here, though, in the Crusader Pirate just yet. We're going to see a Lumberjack from the start off things, though. Guard going with the Questing Knight, so Guard looking to maybe kind of get some early damage in here. We're going to see a Thief in response. That's a good way to kind of counteract the Knight here, kind of push that away for the time being here. Gives Guard the room, though, to set up the Acolyte, and he actually takes the trade, which is interesting. You don't really see many people go for an Elvish Thief trade, but maybe he's thinking he can maybe cut CG off of maybe later ramp down the line, so kind of getting it out of the way. But this does allow Pro to go in with a Dagger Storm, as you just saw there, hit 3 onto the Acolyte, which is going to be very big, pretty much neutralizing that for the rest of the game here. And then going with Knight of Flowers, so kind of maybe suspecting that he's got a Knight build of his own. Not too sure yet, obviously, but we'll see. Horseman, though, hits the board. That will eliminate the Knight of Flowers. Very nicely done there. Kind of a little RNG hit there, but nothing too serious. CG responds with an Armory, and there goes the Acolyte from the Dagger Storm bleed here. Guard going to opt with the Stables here, which I thought was an interesting choice, considering that Dragon Crest Shield was also in the hand here. He could have gone for the Dragon Crest Shield and given permanent armor to this Horseman. Granted, it would have been like +2 on a small body, sure, but he would have maybe survived that trade and maybe gotten some more value out of the Crest Shield, excuse me, drawing some additional cards. But instead go to the Stables, and that's fine. We do see he's got Guardian in hand, so that's obviously going to receive that Stables buff here. But anyway, makes the trade. CG gets that card draw as we move into turn 5 here, or move into the later stages of turn 5, as Knight of Flowers for a second time makes an appearance here. Guard picks up the blue Firebolt, though, which will be immediately used to take out the Knight of Flowers. Nice little pick off there, and still has enough to play the Guardian as well. So very nice sort of counteraction there on Guard's part here. CG responds, though, with the Paladin. That's going to be a great way for him to get some additional bodies on the board here. And Paladin, of course, a little chunky thanks to the Armory at a 5/7 with Resolve, of course. And Guard not taking the best of pickups here with the Major Apprentice. He will play it, it looks like. Following up with an Inspire, which, okay, that's fine. He could have gotten this Dragon Crest. Again, missed an opportunity for Dragon Crest Shield here, putting it on the Guardian and connecting with the Paladin. It wouldn't have killed the Paladin by any means, but it would have certainly weakened it while keeping the Guardian pretty healthy. Again, he probably didn't want to do it just because of that 1 health body below. It's very squishy, but still, I think that was an opportunity to kind of maybe get some additional cards off of the shield. We'll see a Questing Knight, though, picked up from the Inspire. I believe he did play, right? I just want to rewind that to make sure I was right. Yeah, it was Inspire. So he does pick up the Questing Knight and Shield Runner, the first of which he'll throw as a block for this incoming Paladin here. Not too bad. We do see the Paladin make the connection, though, losing the Resolve, and a Southport Captain following up here. I would have liked to see the Southport Captain be a little more aggressive here, maybe coming down the line or coming up here from the top. Would have been able to apply some nice pressure to Guard here. And since this Major Apprentice isn't really doing a whole lot down here, you could have easily pushed this Captain in with no problem. But anyway, with that being said, we'll see what Guard does in response. He does pick up a Judge and a Defective Flame Cannon from the Apprentice ability, uses it onto the Paladin, that Defective Flame Cannon we saw, neutralizing and bringing out the Judge and Shield Runner for some defense. But this does give CG Pro a lot of opportunity here, and he's in a good spot. He's got the global buff of the Armory, followed by 2 fairly healthy units here in Captain and Priest. We'll see where this goes, though. Execution, okay, so there goes the Judge, probably the biggest body Guard had. That does allow the Captain to come in for some damage, 3 damage, of course. And he follows up with the Questing Knight and pushes the Priest as well. So really trying to keep up the pressure against Guard. Gar gets a nice pickup with the Flux Stabes here. He's going to be allowed to kill off the Priest and get some spells. Shadow Dance and Merchant's Favor, though not exactly what he was looking for. Looks like he's going to bounce the Apprentice back for now. And then, yep, protect it with the Shield Runner. So trying to get another spell off of the Mage Apprentice, that's fine. I think Pro should take this opportunity to kind of punish for more damage. Instead of going for the Stables, which I guess, yeah, I do understand that mentality. You want to go for the Stables to kind of get rid of any sort of buff. You do realize at this point he's probably got some Night Focus going on. So I guess that's fine to hit his global buff. But then, of course, you also take the 4 for the Questing Knight, and then push up a Swordsman and a second Questing Knight. So this should be the end of the game, I believe. He does have, or Guard does have Arbiter, which I think he's going to go for, right? Okay. I don't, Okay. So Battlecry is a interesting card for this predicament here. The reason why I say that is he could have easily controlled what he wanted to push back. I imagine he was looking for the Swordsman and Questing Knight pushback here to buy himself a little more time. But he easily could have done something beforehand to kind of eliminate this RNG presence in Southport and Questing Knight, excuse me. Maybe if he wanted to, bring out the Cleric, or... I guess maybe when you look at it, there isn't any sort of way to kind of kill off both units. But I'm just saying, probably should have taken out one unit first. If you had to choose one, maybe the Southport with the Arbiter's Return. You would have gotten the heal in the castle anyway. And again, you would have had a better chance to control that RNG and pushing the Swordsman back here. Because what we see, he pushes the Questing Knight back, but ends up pushing the Southport Captain back as well, which still leaves the Swordsman right up and personal for CG Pro to use in the following turn. We'll see Guard bounce the Judge back to kind of keep it, to try and use it, but at this point I think it's too late, especially since Swordsman is now coming on to face here, and since there's no direct removal, Guard has to interact with the Swordsman to get rid of it, and at that point it's going to be over. So we'll see if he has anything tricky up his sleeve here. Major Apprentice is going to connect there, Shield Runner, okay, 5 going to the castle, Craxus going to... Okay, favor up, I guess. That's fine. Cleric, okay, so he can try and maybe hit this first, which he, of course, does go for. Gets the heal onto the castle. Very nicely done. Craxus mispositioned. Unfortunately, the auto path. I don't know if he maybe just clicked the Swordsman, assuming it would go into here. A little bit of a misclick there in the auto pathing, though. Craxus does stop short at this square, so that does leave both Captain and Questing Knight room to hit. And with 5 health left and no gold, Guard will lose this one. So overall, very nicely done from CG Pro here. Really just showing the offensive capabilities of Armory, I think, in my opinion. I think this was a Knight deck on him, too. I'm not too sure. I did see a lot of Knights in there, Paladin, Questing, Swordsman. But whether this was a Knight-focused deck, I guess, well, he'll let us know probably in the comments. So, with that being said, overall, solid first match. Congrats to CG Pro for that win. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into match number 2 and see what that match has in store for us. Alright, and match number 2 does go underway here. Of course, Holden Green taking on King Max 26. A little bit of Pirate Viking taking on Warlock Crusader. We'll see what both men have to offer here. Or I guess both players, I really should say. But anyway, we'll start off here. Going to go for a quick pass on turn 1 for King Max's side. Holden responds by getting the metal, coining into the Vicious Sunflower. Alright, interesting card. Not really seeing a whole lot of that in the Pirate Viking aspect, so curious on maybe if this is a newer deck from Holden. We're going to go ahead and see a Hovel for turn 2 from Holden. Of course, King Max having to pass his turn 2. He does set up the Blacksmith turn 3, though. He does finally have a play in this game. We'll see him set up the Blacksmith up at the top there. Interesting call. But I guess it's better than playing the Altar for slower units here. But you see a Wizard, so Holden really kind of getting on curve here. Really kind of getting his engine going. Hard to tell if this is a Mystic Rat deck, obviously, because some of these cards like Wizard and Hovel are so generally used. I'm very curious, though, on the Sunflower tech and why that is necessarily in the deck. You don't really see, again, don't really see it too much outside of Last Will decks, where they end up flourishing quite well due to the fact that they can power up Andrew. But we'll see what happens here. We do see King Max drawing a Witch Bolt, so obviously I assume that's going to be used this turn. That is probably going to take out the Unholy Altar for being, not only, it's like to take out the Wizard following up with the Unholy Altar, but I was wrong, actually. It looks like White Knight going to be the play to make here. I guess maybe to kind of mitigate the amount of Last Will Burst Sunflower is going to ultimately do if he decides to do something different, but... you know, that's fine. We'll see what he decides to do here as a response. Holden opting to Nord. Alright, so we can confirm that this is a Winds deck of some kind. And of course, Sunflower connecting to the White Knight there puts it in range for Wizard to kind of deliver the final blow here. So Holden putting himself in a very strong position moving into the mid game here. Obviously, Castle is pulled here, which he definitely loves to see here. Got a Wizard kind of close on face, which of course I think, well, is going to be gone, right, with this Witch Bolt. Yeah, if Witch Bolt hits the board, then that will remove the Wizard. But he also has this Rat Generator going. If he can move this castle closer, these rats can be possibly doing a lot more damage at a much faster pace than maybe King Max would like here. But we'll see what happens. We will certainly see what happens. Looks like we're going to go into an Unholy Altar there from King Max. So, alright, setting up that Undead Engine a little bit there. Very nice, very nice. Rat, though, going to go ahead and take a chip out of the castle here. If you go back to Holden. Holden bringing the Rune Warrior, okay? I guess maybe sort of a budget wins then. Again, not a card we see a whole lot, but very nice. Does leave Max to go for a Fear. I think he wants to go for a Dragon's Fire later on in the match. He did have an opportunity to go for the Dragon's Fire. I think he wants to try and get Holden to kind of leak a little more value onto the board here, get a little more out of that Dragon's Fire. Maybe a few more rat spawns, maybe some cheaper units, maybe like a Blacksmith, maybe something like a... Just a cheap unit in general that he can easily burn off with Dragon's Fire and sort of try to regain back some kind of advantage in the match. It's going to be hard for him to do so. We'll see Temple get placed down. These rats are going to be doing a lot more damage now, which is unfortunate here. Looks like the top rat going to be taking a little bit of chip up at the top there from the armor, the altar. And of course the other two rats move in for some additional damage, going down to 11. Alright, very interesting. We'll see how King Max responds. He's going to have to do the Dragon Fire here, which I do agree with. Just there's starting to be too many rats on this board, and you've already got problems with the Rune Warrior doing 3 chain now, which it looks like he is going to put down even further. Holden going to go ahead and absorb and scope the Rune Warrior, taking additional chip damage out of the castle. Really a big punch if you really want to think about it like that. But of course, like I said, scoping it very dangerous here. Going to go for a Hands of the Saint play on the castle. Definitely needed, in my opinion. You are getting a little low here, and with how many units, well, actually you're in lethal range. You let the Wizard survive. Now that I think about it, he could have easily just walked up and bopped, even with the Rune Warrior gone. So, Hands of the Saint absolutely necessary here. Unfortunately, though, can't really do much else. The Flamestorm doesn't really do a whole lot to fix the situation, so he has to end up passing with 2 Craxus and a Flamestorm and Luminaris in hand. And that does give Holden more room here, following with the Sea Witch, the Barbarian for his turn 8, which I think will probably do the Flamestorm now, definitely, considering that Sea Witch is on the board here. We do go ahead and... Okay. Interesting. So he's going to end up going for a huge chain here. I don't know if that was intentional, but definitely not, I think, what King Max was trying to go for here. I do think the Flamestorm might have helped clear a little better. I understand the problem of just letting the Barbarian in, though, and doing a whole lot of damage. Probably doing lethal, actually, now that I think about it. Again, haven't seen a Lightning Blade yet, so that's definitely a possibility in the deck. But I do think Flamestorm was better, because now Sea Witch is going to be a problem. That's going to hit Craxus and gain some skeletons, which are obviously going to hit Castle off of that. So yeah, kind of not sure about letting the Sea Witch survive. Maybe he was hoping for a Witch Bolt off of the top deck, but not going to see that happen, unfortunately, here. So we'll see how Holden maybe kind of capitalize on this. Wizard going to go ahead and take out the Craxus. Alright, the Sea Witch comes in, deals additional damage. Skeletal Pirates come out. Lightning Blade, okay, and I think, alright, second Temple. So I think that's going to be it, right? 3, and then, yeah, the 2 from the Temple. So Holden does actually use that opportunity to end off the game with the dirty Skeletal Pirate Lightning Blade combination there. But overall, I think this was just a very solid match for him in general. He got his sort of engine up and running much faster than King Max did. I don't really think we saw Max's engine really run at all, unfortunately. That was kind of just due to the fact that he had some, you know, rough luck with draws, things like double Craxus, Luminaris, Dragon's Fire, in the early portions of the game. Definitely hurt him, but not much you can do on that one, but just kind of, you know, take it and then move on to the next matchup here and hope you have better luck in that. But with that being said, again, great match by both these players here, and congrats again to Holden for winning that match. But with that being said, we have one more match to go, so let's go ahead and take a look at what match number 3 has to offer. Alright, folks, and this is the big matchup here. Rulf versus Titan Rook. Pirate Crusader taking on Warlock Druid here. Now, if you saw the title of the video, you'll probably know what we're getting to at this point, and I'm not going to waste any time. Let's hop right into the matchup and show you what looks to be a Santa deck. Oh boy. I'm not really sure where this is going to go here, but obviously it looks like Rolf is taking a bit of the aggro approach here with Primordial Flame to start things off here. School for Titan, not a good draw. Obviously that's going to lead to this Primordial Flame coming in unharmed. But this is kind of interesting here. Santa's School deck. Not really sure what the idea behind this was, but I'm very curious to see where it goes. As we get into the Shield Runner for turn 2 here on Rolf's side, Primordial Flame does come in. Parrot Rush as the top deck. Not exactly useful, but not exactly harmful either here. Elvish Thief being drawn on second Santa off the Divine Knowledge here. So we'll definitely be able to use some of the in the next turn here, but we'll see what happens. Going to go for the Faithful Drake is Rolf, followed by the Chaotic Storm. So really applying some early pressure here, and that's what you want to do with the aggro deck, of course. Very nicely done here. Doing to see the first Santa being played here, and of course it does kind of make sense why he plays Santa rather than going for something like the Elvish Thief for the ramp. Obviously, you have the 5 gold next turn, which can see an Elvish Parrot play, potentially. Elvish can hit something, gain that ramp, and gain an additional Parrot, which can, again, help further clean up this aggro here. So we'll see if that pays off, but unfortunately the Santa play does sort of somewhat backfire here. Courthouse, of course, coming into the hand here, followed by the Stone Drake for the opponent, which can become scary. Stone Drake is a scary card, not going to lie, but we'll see what happens. Santa knocking the Primordial Flame around a little bit for 3 damage here, but of course this is all going to not really matter. We're going to see a lot of damage come in here against Titan's Rook. You have another Chaotic Storm, Flame Storm, all this face damage, and he's already got 2 cards, or 2 health, excuse me, left. But with 2 cards, we're going to mention how he kind of cleans this up a little bit. So obviously Elvish Thief going to come out to play now. That's going to hit the Shield Runner. Parrot Rush comes out for bringing out, or excuse me, Parrot Rush comes out, and in doing so brings out 2 bodies because of the Elvish Thief ramp. That's going to allow him to clean up this board here. Very nice. But if Rolf does have a burn, this game does game does end, and we'll see Primordial Flame, Faithful Drake be the cards to try and end that game, or this game, for Titan's Rook. Santa comes back out for a second time, so even after giving him the Stone Drake, he's going to go for the Santa again, following up the School of Knowledge here. He does have a Dwarven Greed in hand. We'll see if he decides to hold on to that for now, and then of course he does clear out the Faithful Drake again, leaving the Primordial Flame alive. Looks like he can't deal with this on the board, but of course he wants to lure in maybe the Primordial Flame a bit closer here. So we'll see where this goes. Rolf does bring up the Stone Drake here. That does clear off the Parrot, obviously, because it does have that fast speed. And Primordial Flame locks onto the castle. So, Rook does have to eliminate the Primordial Flame this turn if he wants to survive. He does have a good pickup for it. The Minotaur in hand is going to do some wonderful work. But instead goes for the Swordsman here, which is, of course, equally as a great option. Because, of course, in doing so, you do clear off the Stone Drake as well without risking any of your other units. And, of course, we do see Santa cleaning up the Primordial Flame. Parrot Rush being rushed into castle here. And he's looking to kind of make a comeback here. And he does, again, have Arbiter. So Arbiter is going to be a big factor. The burn does not come out for Rolf this turn. So it looks like Brewery going to be the card to play. And that's it, which is surprising considering he's got 3 cards in hand. This does lead Rook to play the Kraxus. He can't play Arbiter just yet. He doesn't have enough gold to do so. And, of course, everything else gets rushed down to the face. So we'll see if Rolf now has a burn. Can he pick up the burn? Looks like he does not. He ends up passing again, which is unfortunate because that does lead Titan's Rook here to Arbiter. Yep, we're going to see that Arbiter get thrown down here, going to lead to some big damage all around here. And I think, I don't think he had lethal. Let me look back, actually. Hold on. Did he have... Did 4, 12, so not exactly lethal in the hand or on the board for Titan's Rook, but certainly close enough. And it looks like Rolf was going to surrender there. So School Santa actually comes out on top here, which is quite surprising, considering just how much of a joke card Santa is. But hey, listen, I mean, that kind of goes to show you that if you can really put your mind to it, anything can work in the CNC. You just have to know how to play it correctly. There are no bad cards. There are just bad pilots. So, with that being said, I think that's going to be a great opportunity to close out this video. So let's go ahead and do just that. Alright folks, and with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this edition of TV Commentary. Let me know what you guys thought of the match by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. And while you're out there, if you have done so already, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, sharing it with your friends, and of course, subscribing if you're new. Definitely helps the channel a lot. Of course, like I said in the beginning of the video, 50.9% of you are not subscribed to the channel. So if you are one of those 50.9%, be sure to click subscribe. Again, supports the channel at no additional cost to you, which I think is fantastic. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for me for now. So, until next time. Stay gaming.